Francis for like 2 years now. And we had gotten to a point where, he was going to fight John Jones, and many who believe, including me, that he's the best of all time, for the heavyweight championship. And John Jones has been willing and ready and able to fight anybody. He didn't care who it was. Could have been anybody in the heavyweight division. He was ready to go. And Francis, we offered Francis a deal that would have made him the highest paid heavyweight in the history of the company. More than Lesnar, more than anybody. And he turned the deal down. So, I don't know, but, we get to this point where I've told you guys this before. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. I think Francis is in a place right now where he doesn't want to take a lot of risk. Feels like he's in a good position where he could fight lesser opponents and make more money. So we're gonna let him do that. We're gonna release him from his contract. We're gonna give up our right to match, and he can go wherever he wants and do whatever he wants. Yeah, that's where we're at.
When was that decision made, Dana? How long have you known that this was going to be the case, that Francis was gone?
Well, we've been negotiating with him for 2 years, and that there were a lot of different, even now, the guy is just weighing over 300 pounds, just had knee surgery, hasn't really had a real training camp. And I think that probably has a lot to do with it, as far as Francis is concerned too. He doesn't know what's going to happen with his knee, how his knee, he's not getting younger. So, I don't even think he would have been ready for March. So, we can't continue to hold up the division and not come to an agreement with this guy. We did everything we could to try to make this fight happen and try to give him the fight, but, he's got it in his head that there's bigger opportunities outside the UFC with, lesser opponents.
And did this just come down to a dollar figure? Or was it like other things, like I want a bigger portion of pay-per-view?
I do not think that you're going to fight arguably the greatest fighter of all time. You'd be the highest paid heavyweight ever in UFC history. Or you think there's more money out there to fight somebody who isn't the greatest of all time, somebody who is a lesser opponent. You'll have to ask Francis that question, but in my opinion, that's what it is. Which isn't the first time that's happened here. It's not like this is something that's never happened before. There's been other guys that have come to us and said, I don't want to compete at this level anymore.
Did you get the feeling that he was negotiating in good faith or just really didn't want to be here at all?
I don't know. No, I doubt he'd just hang out for 2 years and continue to negotiate, and I don't know. I don't think he thought the John Jones fight would really happen. That's what I think. I think he didn't think that would really come to fruition, but it did. John Jones was literally ready to fight anybody. He didn't care who it was. And we could have done a fight with John back in, October, November, December, and we kept, we kept trying to get this deal done with Francis, and then finally it just, we got to the realization that it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. So the last thing for me on that, so just to be clear, 100% free and clear, he could sign a contract with anybody in the world tomorrow, no matching, no counter, no nothing, he's just gone.
100%, and this is for the official heavyweight title.
I was just going to ask you about that. Not the fight we were expecting, but I think when people saw it, people did get pretty excited. What's your thoughts on Jones versus Gunn?
Yeah, listen, you have if you look at the fight with Francis and Cyril, it was a damn close fight. So there's no doubt that those two guys are the best heavyweights in the world, and for John to come out and face either one of them is exciting. It's fun.
Did want to ask you about Sean Strickland tonight, obviously coming in kind of saving the main event on short notice. What did you think of his performance? And he's kind of an interesting character.
He's a bad boy. Coming in and taking a fight on a week's notice is impressive. Yeah, it's awesome. You look great.
Last thing for me, I guess I just want to ask kind of where you stand, the continued fallout of everything that's happened. Are you, I'm sure you've seen the reaction or what everybody's saying. Are you...
About what?
About the New Year's Eve incident. Have you moved past it at this point? Do you feel like you're going to have to keep addressing this every time you're up here at the dais, or do you feel like...
I'll probably be addressing it for the rest of my life, I just talked about it, 2 days ago? Yeah.
Dana White, over you. David Potter, good to see you again. So what was your overall assessment of the entire evening? Is there any fighters that stood out to you at this fight night?
The Kopilov Puna fight was awesome. awesome fight. I think Puna is so tough and durable and has a ton of heart, and Kopilov looked incredible tonight. I mean, you guys are out there. Every fucking jab that he landed was nasty. That inside leg kick to the calf was nasty. And then once he's got unbelievable killer instinct. Once he smelled blood in the water with that body shot, he just kept attacking the body until he finished the fight. Incredible performance.
And the John Jones fight versus Gane is actually fairly interesting. I mean, they bring up a fair amount of problems to each other. What's your personal assessment on that fight?
Yeah, I agree. Both incredibly talented guys. Cyril Gane is a heavyweight that moves like a middleweight. He's got a really well-rounded game, and John Jones is the best to ever do it, in my opinion. So you couldn't ask for a better fight.
Congratulations on another great evening.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Dana, going on the John Jones is the best ever in your opinion, do you think if he comes back after 3 years away and wins a title in another division, there's no denying to anyone that he's probably the greatest?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big believer in ring rust. Ali took 3 years off and didn't look the same when he came back. We'll see what happens with John. One of the things that, John has put the weight on naturally, though. He didn't do it overnight. It's taken a long time, and he's ready to roll. He's excited to fight, so we'll see what happens.
With the T-Mobile thing, how does that happen? How did they put that up early? Who made the mistake there?
Well, you got to blame, my team internally too, and T-Mobile. I don't know what was said. I was very, very pissed off a few hours ago, and I'm over it now.
I was going to say, do you still get pissed off about that stuff, or is it just like...
No, I still get pissed, yeah. I was very pissed off.
I'm just curious, what's happening with Stipe Miocic? There was always this talk of him versus John, and obviously John's fighting Cyril. Where's Stipe?
Yeah, Stipe's still obviously very much in the mix, and but he's going through some stuff right now that he's dealing with. The timing just didn't work for him.
You mentioned Francis wants to go fight lower opponents. Are you expecting him to sign with another MMA organization, or do you think he might try and go box?
Who? Francis? I have no clue. I have no clue. Listen, whatever he decides to do, it's been fun while he's been here. I wish him the best. It's all good.
I know you guys always think you can get these deals across the line. Were you particularly surprised that Francis just didn't seem to want to stick around? Were you surprised as you were negotiating with him, like, man, this guy just doesn't seem to want to be here?
I don't know. It happens. He's the second guy that we couldn't come to a deal with. You know what I mean? Now it's him and Fedor. So, we did everything we could to get him to take the deal. I think Hunter went to 350 dinners with him. Did what we could do, and it just didn't work out.
Everyone always talks about the Fedor offer on this mystery island or whatever. Who would have got the better deal, Francis or Fedor?
Did what?
Who would have got the better deal from you, Fedor or Francis?
That's funny. That's a good question. Yeah, it would probably have to be Francis. I mean, the deal that was being offered to Francis would have made him the highest paid guy in heavyweight history. And when you think about Brock Lesnar, the guy did 1 million buys every time he fought. So, big number, big money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where would you rank the Francis John fight that didn't happen? Where would you rank that in fights that we never got to see in the UFC out there with like the Habib, Tonys, and everything?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been fun to see Fedor versus Brock at the time that we tried to make it. This is a fun fight too. But so was Cyril Gane. So it wasn't like we were like, we wanted to make the Fedor Brock fight, but we ended up making this fight that was just, the fight that we have now is incredible.
Dana, what was it that Francis wanted above and beyond? I mean, you offered him more than any other fighter, but...
Yeah, well, it's like I said, what I think he wanted is, I think that he's, this guy's worked hard, and he feels like he's in a position right now to fight lesser competition for more money. I think he doesn't want to take the risk. You're going in against John Jones, the best of all time. And at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. He can do that's just not what we do here. It's not what we do here. The best fight the best here. There's plenty of places where you can go do that, and that's where he'll end up. He'll end up somewhere where somebody will, throw some money at him, and he's going to fight fights that he thinks he can win.
Would he have taken that deal if he didn't have to fight John Jones? Was he picked?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Was it a requirement for John Jones to fight for the title for his debut at heavyweight?
No, this is what John wanted. You know, John's been talking about this forever. So this wasn't our thing. This is a John thing.
I mean, but Jones would have came in even at heavyweight.
No, John was willing to fight anybody. He was willing to fight anybody. So you're asking me, would he only fight at heavyweight for the title? No. He was willing to fight anybody. He didn't care. He literally didn't care who was on the roster, and not for the title. He was willing to fight anybody.
And then it seemed like we thought that John was going to come back in December and fight Ngannou. Did John Jones agree to fight Ngannou at that time when everybody thought that was...
Oh, 100%. John Jones wanted to fight Ngannou. You guys are going to have plenty of opportunity to talk to John, and John's very confident that he would have ripped through Francis Ngannou. That's how he feels. That was an easy fight for him.
Have you had a peek at how John looks at that weight, at the heavyweight?
No, I haven't seen it. No. Just his face in interviews.
Yeah, one more. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any update on the co-main event to that fight card? Because Aljamain and Henry Cejudo seem to be doing matchmaking for each other, and then Aljamain said his bicep is hurt, and now Henry...
The co-main event for this fight?
No, for the pay-per-view in March under John.
Yeah, no, not right now, I don't. I told you guys, or you heard Leon Edwards and Usman is finalized, and then Gaethje and Fiziev are the co-main event for that fight.
So
In London.
Leon Kamaru was finalized for that one?
Yes. Yes, done. All those fights are done. All 4 of those fights are done. I mean, both those fights are done.
Dana?
Yeah.
Before John had took his time off, he was kind of looking for a new contract as well. He was kind of going back and forth. Did he get a new contract, or is he under the same contract?
Jones signed a new 8-fight deal.
And then with Francis,
Good question. I forgot to tell you that.
he really wanted to box. Was that offered in his contract?
Who did?
Francis Ngannou wanted to box.
No, nobody's getting boxing in their contracts. No.
And then, are you guys going to New York in April?
Probably.
And then finally, Umar Nurmagomedov looked very good tonight.
Very good.
I mean, with his knockout, I mean, is it just a matter of time before you guys put a rocket ship to his back and kind of have him fight top 5?
He actually wanted to come back and talk to me tonight after the fight. We talked, and he's like, I'm ready. He's going home for a week, and then he's coming back here, and he said he's ready for anything. Anything that we bring to him, he's ready. He's ready for anything, so I love that attitude. You know, I'm excited about that kid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Dana.
Hey,
Do you think he's ready for March 4th? He wants to fight on that card here in Vegas.
who does?
Umar.
Yeah? Does he?
Yeah.
You're saying he does want to fight on that card?
That's what he was saying.
Yeah, well, he's coming right back a week after, he's leaving for a week and coming back, and he told us he's ready for anything, yeah.
Is there room for
We'll probably turn him around quick. When guys want to turn around quick, I love that. It's just about, finding the right opponent. There's a lot of fights that are already happening in that division, but you have to think too that some will probably fall out because it happens, so I don't know. You know what I always say, I don't make fights after the fight, but Tuesday we'll start looking at it.
If the UFC was prepared to make Ngannou the highest paid heavyweight in history to fight John Jones, was a similar offer made to Cyril Gane?
Did the offer get made to Cyril's under contract?
Yeah, but has he got a similar offer to fight John Jones?
Has he got what?
A similar offer to fight John Jones?
No, he has a deal. Cyril Gane has a deal. Francis Ngannou did not.
Okay. And I love the fight. I think it's a great headline for Vegas, but you said, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, with regard to John Jones, that Las Vegas isn't good for him and because of like previous misdemeanors. Do you think it will be good for him on March the 4th?
You said in the past that Las Vegas isn't good for John Jones.
Oh, yeah.
It's good for him.
And what do I think about it? I still think the same thing. Yeah, I agree that it's not good.
Hey Dana, to your right.
Yeah.
I guess looking back on the whole Francis situation, do you have any one regret, or do you feel like this was kind of always how it was going to end, regardless of any kind of?
No, I didn't think this is how it was going to end. I thought we'd eventually come to a deal with him, but we didn't. You know, I don't have any regrets. Hunter might, but I don't.
This week is slap. I guess, how are you feeling 4 days out? Obviously, the circumstances have changed a little bit with the incident that happened. How are you feeling about the launch of this thing you said you've been planning for years?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling good. I mean, I haven't really thought of it. We'll really start hitting it hard tomorrow. But yeah, I feel good. I think that it's insanely entertaining, and I think people are going to like it.
Has your involvement or your presence within the show itself, has that changed at all after what happened?
Everything's the same.
Everything's the same.
Yeah. We pushed it back a week because I was supposed to come back and do like this whole media tour, which obviously wasn't going to happen when I got back.
So that was the reason for the delay of the media tour.
Yeah.
Was it ever in jeopardy, or how close was it in jeopardy to not airing?
What do you mean?
Just not airing completely, like the TBS just didn't want to put it on anymore. Was that ever a possibility?
No.
And then, since you spoke on Wednesday, you said, don't defend me, and I deserve anything that people say. I think the narrative now has changed over the last few days that Dana White has apologized now. But the main criticism is that he didn't face any professional repercussions. And you did speak on that on Wednesday, but now I want to ask you, since you've had a few days now, and that's sort of been the big takeaway, that what message does that send about domestic violence, that the president of a company would get away, and you're talking about repercussions in your personal life, but people are talking about repercussions in a professional life. Is there any thoughts that you have?
The only thing that matters is my personal life. What else is there?
Well, I think that the people who are talking about the narrative say that there has to be, there should be some professional consequence.
Okay, so what should it be?
No one seems to really have an opinion on that. They just.
I hear you.
So my final question is, had Endeavor came to you and said, hey, we do think that you should walk, that we need you to step away for 30 days, 45 days, 6 months, whatever it was, what would your reaction have been to that had Endeavor asked that?
I told you I was going to leave in 2016 with the sale. Could have sat out during COVID. Okay. What should my punishment be?
Yeah. I guess.
And you say there's going to be repercussions in your personal life, but none in your professional life. Well, what matters other than my personal life? Nothing. Nothing matters except for my personal life. This is great. Love doing it. Don't have to do it.
Thank you.
Yep.
I've just got one last one. What's happening with Hamza Chimaev? He says that he's been offered 4 fights in different countries and everything. Do we have a plan for Hamza?
What's the question?
What's happening with Hamza?
Yeah, I don't know. We're working on him. We're trying to figure him out right now. There's nothing to report on him right now. We gotta figure that out. Good?